As Californians continue to face a cost of living crisis, California Democrat politicians are now talking about reducing the cost of living. But coming up, I'll tell you why their program is nothing more than a scam, window dressing, while they raise your taxes and spike your living costs. All that coming up. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state legislator representing District 75 in the California State Assembly. California Democrats are finally admitting what we all have known for a long time. There's a cost of living crisis in our state. Now, you and I both know that the Democrat politicians caused that cost of living crisis with all of their mandates, their regulations, and yes, all of their taxes and fees that they've imposed on us year after year. The crushing weight and blow has finally made it unsustainable for a family to survive here in California. That's why many Californians are fleeing the state. So now the politicians, the Democrats, are coming out saying, oh, we've got a cost of living solution. I'm going to share with you their solution in just a moment. And you're going to see just how inadequate it is, how offensive it is, how it's nothing more than talk, window dressing. I'll also let you know what they rejected in the way of real cost of living savings. But I need your help because at Reform California, we are making cost of living the fight to reduce living costs in our state, like opposing taxes, like the mileage tax, rolling back unfair utility charges, rolling back the gas tax. These reforms will result in immediate cost savings for you and all California families. And we want to get these ideas on the ballot in the 2026 election. So if you want to join us in that fight to put cost savings on the ballot, cost reduction on the ballot in 2026, please go to the website reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org. Sign up at the bottom because we are going to be moving forward with a number of citizens initiatives, including the Taxpayer Protection Initiative. That'll be paired up with our voter ID initiative that we already have underway. By signing up at the bottom of the website at reformcalifornia.org, you will be tethered into our growing statewide network of people so that you are given the information about the ballot measures once we unveil them and how you can sign the petitions. Plus, we give you our voter guide so you know who to vote against and who to vote for in each of these upcoming elections. So go to that website, go to the bottom and put in your first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. And then, of course, please do consider a contribution. Look, the cost of living is too much in this state, and we need fuel in the tank to not only win candidate races, but win these ballot measure races. So please do what you can at reformcalifornia.org. Okay, here is the Democrat program for cost reduction. And you're going to see just how offensive and inadequate it is. This is the Speaker of the California State Assembly, Robert Rivas. Now, when he was sworn in back in December, almost 5 months ago now, he said that he was going to immediately take action on cost of living reduction and that he wanted to see how to make things more affordable for California. Well, for the past 5 months, they've done nothing at all. Oh, they have done some things. They've rejected common sense cost reduction. We offered a plan, the Republicans, to suspend the gas tax. They voted against it. We offered a plan to stop the utility rate charges, the flat rate that's being charged to every consumer across the state in violation of the solar contracts that a lot of people have. Democrats killed it. I offered a way to cap the insurance costs of Californians and give insurance rate relief rebates to all California homeowners, saving anywhere from $300 a year to $3,000 a year. Democrats killed the bill. On and on and on, we've offered ideas on how to give immediate cost savings to Californians, and Democrats have killed every single common sense proposal. So 5 months after he said he was going to take immediate action, Robert Rivas says that he's announcing new assembly actions targeting the biggest cost drivers for Californians. So what does he do? He's announcing new assembly committees. He's forming committees. And he says that here's some pieces of legislation that will make things much more affordable for Californians. I'm going to share with you the legislation in just a moment, but it does not do anything near what we need to have happen. So he showboats. He says, quote, California's cost of living is the single biggest threat to our future. Middle-class families are earning $125,000 a year, and they're struggling to afford rent, childcare, and groceries. That's just not sustainable. Welcome to the party, buddy. You just now waking up to this, Robert Rivas? You and your Democrat liberal tax and spenders have created this mess. And you're just now saying, oh, gee, it's a little expensive in California. As the lobbyists are wining and dining you with steak dinners and very expensive bottles of wine in Sacramento. Believe me, I see it every day. I don't partake in it. So he says he's going to reduce your cost of living by forming a bunch of government committees to talk and study. That's his plan? Forming government committees to talk and study? He has a committee on childcare costs. A committee to talk about childcare costs. Well, again, Democrats voted against my colleague's bill that would do a tax rebate, tax credit for childcare costs. Democrats killed that bill. They don't like giving tax credits out. They have a select committee on CalFresh enrollment and nutrition. In other words, hey, we're not going to reduce the cost of living. We're just going to figure out how to make welfare more permissive and get more people enrolled in the welfare programs of the state. Again, whether you support that or not, it doesn't bend the cost curve. Handing out welfare does not reduce the cost of living. It makes people dependent. Here's one, the Select Committee on Housing, Finance, and Affordability. Okay, that's nice to know. But these are the same Democrats that have consistently defended the worst law on the books that make it hard to build in California, California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, which allows anyone to sue a housing project and stop it dead in its tracks. And usually it has nothing to do with the environment. In fact, CEQA has actually hurt the environment time and time again. Nobody wants to cover that in the liberal media. It's used to basically extort kickbacks, labor contracts from housing developers on their projects. That's what CEQA has been used for. It's called green mail. Instead of blackmail, it's green mail. But Democrats haven't done anything to deal with housing, finance, and affordability. It's been 25 years that this crisis has been brewing. All they're doing is making it harder for people to build. The state building code is out of control. As I mentioned, all these lawsuits, frivolous lawsuits, cause housing projects to skyrocket. And of course, what they have done is made it a toxic environment for people to want to invest in any sort of apartment housing to lower the cost of rents because, well, we don't allow landlords to enforce their contracts. There's no easy eviction. Squatters have all the rights. You have all these mandates that landlords now have to follow. You can't even do a criminal background check on people. There's all sorts of mandates that you're required to rent to people. Give them money if you decide not to renew their lease. All of these things have made things toxic for new investment in housing. But he has a select committee on housing, finance, and affordability. He has a committee on transportation costs and the impact of the low carbon fuel standard. You don't need to have a study committee on the impact of the low carbon fuel standard. It's raised the price of gasoline already by about 35%. It's expected to raise it by up to $1 per gallon by 2026. And by the way, you guys are the asshats that have increased the gas tax and put it on autopilot. It goes up every year now, July 1st. Don't tell me that you're interested in reducing transportation costs when you just increased the gas tax repeatedly. And you steal the money, you don't even put it in the roads. So here are the legislation that he says, ooh, look at the legislation that we're going to do to make things more affordable. Okay, AB 353 mandates internet service providers give free home internet to California residents. Well, you might say, well, that's going to make my budget better because I don't have to pay for my internet. Do you actually think that a mandate that one person provides things for free is somehow coming at no cost? No, they'll raise the price of your cell phone bill or God knows what else. These companies will end up leaving the state of California with less competition means higher prices. Congratulations, Democrats. You screwed up again. That doesn't reduce costs. AB 457 from Soria streamlines the process to provide affordable housing for farm workers in California. Oh, so we're going to pick winners and losers. By the way, this bill is a pro-union bill, which actually means prevailing wage and means that the price of the housing is more expensive. Try again, guys. AB 485 strengthens enforcement of unpaid wage judgments. Okay, how does that reduce costs? Oh, it may get more money into some people's pockets, but someone has to pay it. And again, I don't want to wade into whether someone legitimately has to pay it or should be receiving it. This doesn't reduce costs. Again, this just moves money from one pocket to the other in society. Maybe well-founded, maybe rightfully so, but there's no cost reduction for society. Nothing got cheaper as a result of that one. AB 609 WICS creates an exemption from the California Environmental Quality Act for housing projects that are compliant with local laws and in environmentally friendly locations. Okay, on this one, we dug deep. Again, it is not going to make housing cheaper. In order for this exemption to kick in, you have to do a project labor agreement, and you also have to pay prevailing wage, which means construction costs are much higher, and you tell 87% of the construction industry in California they're not eligible to work on the project. You threw all those people out of jobs. Why? Because the union pays dues. The dues go into the political fund. The politicians get the campaign contributions. They say they're giving you better cost of living. What it really is a money laundering scam for their campaign funds. That's an AB 609. AB 702 eliminates unnecessary costs by prohibiting local governments from requiring bonding or other financial assurances relating to subdivision improvements that will privately owned or maintained. Any of you out there think that that's going to save you any money? Seriously. AB 1007 expedites the approval process for development projects by requiring public agencies to make decisions within the set timeline. Oh, so we're setting a timeline to make a decision. Let me guess, the decision is usually no. Or, yeah, we will approve your project plans, but here are all the costly mandates that you have to comply with. AB 1234 speeds up resolution of wage theft claims. Again, same thing as that bill above. AB 1248 protects tenants from unpredictable and costly housing fees. Okay. What do you define as unpredictable and costly housing fees? Again, this doesn't make anything cheaper in society. What it simply says is, hey, you tenants, you don't have to pay for whatever cost the landlord is incurring. He can't pass that on. Again, that doesn't make something cheaper in society. It doesn't bend the cost curve. It just picks winners and losers. AB 1294 establishes a state uniform application for housing projects that are compliant with local laws. Oh, for God's sakes, don't even get me started. Paperwork, reshuffling is what that one is. Okay, I just went through all of their bills. That's the best they've got. Now, compare that with the bills I just mentioned. A bill to suspend the gas tax. A bill to eliminate the flat fee on your utility bills. A bill to reduce all utility bills to the national average, no more, no less. A bill to cap what homeowners have to pay for insurance rate increases and give insurance rate rebates to people so that their insurance doesn't go up more than the national average. That's Assembly Bill 567 that I authored. Democrats killed it. We could go on and on with all the cost-saving ideas that we've laid out. We've proposed to repeal the California Environmental Quality Act. We've proposed to roll back the state building code. We've proposed to eliminate all regulations for brush management so you can clear brush and protect your home, reduce fire risk. All of these things reduce costs. We've proposed to get rid of project labor agreements, cutting the cost of construction projects by 30%. These are real cost reductions. What are Democrats doing that they're not putting on this list? They're proposing a range of regulatory burdens. They just imposed a payroll tax, $1 billion payroll tax on all employees in the state of California. On any job creation in the state of California, there's a higher payroll tax. That's in this year's budget. They're all supporting it. They're all supporting the gas tax increase. Now they want Assembly Bill 1421, which would allow for a mileage tax to be imposed in California. Do you understand that this committee system that they just laid out and a couple of these inconsequential bills that they're trotting out, this is the best they have to offer? This is it. You're looking at the best. This is like the big fireworks display. Wah, wah, wah. You should be wickedly pissed about this offer of cost reduction. This is the best that Democrats are offering you. Again, it shows why they are absolutely unsuited to hold power in this state. They messed it up. They screwed it up. They caused the cost of living crisis that we're all suffering under. We believe it's time for bold action, real cost reduction. I want to share with you this, and I want you to share it with your friends and family. The Transparency Foundation publishes an annual cost of living index for California. And they found in their last report, and they do this every year, so it gets updated every year, to just live in California, it imposes a cost of living penalty of $28,037.28. This is basically their study takes the typical middle-class family and builds a budget for them using California cost data for everything, every line item in your budget. They then compare that to what the national cost would be for the same item. So in California, your cost of living penalty for living out here, just for a middle-class family, on average, basic living needs, $28,037.28. Here are all the categories that the study found that there are higher costs. Housing costs in California are 108% higher for homeowners, 47% higher for renters. None of the bills you just heard about will bend that curve. Gas prices, 46% higher on average, $1.47 per gallon, about $2,500 a year in higher costs per family. Food costs, 10% higher. Water costs, 10% higher. Healthcare costs, 3% higher and rising. State and local taxes, 60% higher. Childcare, 52% higher. Electricity costs, double. Car insurance, 27% higher. This is all getting worse. Your fire insurance, your homeowner's insurance, has already gone up by about 40% in the last 2 years. It'll likely go up by 40% in the next 2 years. That's if you're lucky to keep your insurance. If you got thrown off your insurance, you're on the FAIR plan, the government-run program, up to 300% higher. Thanks, California Democrats. You're really bending the cost curve. Yeah, you're bending it upward. This study is amazing. I want you to go check it out at thetransparencyfoundation.org. What it shows is not only is that family paying more, the $28,000 more in living costs, but they go into debt, $28,833 just to live here for 1 year. That's credit card debt. That's digging a deeper hole just because it costs more to live in California. If they didn't have this massive price differential, this cost of living penalty, they'd pretty much almost break even, be a little bit behind by $800. They'd be able to make ends meet. They would be able to pencil it out. But no, they're getting sucker punched. And again, it's the Democrats that are doing it, and the media gives this press release from Robert Rivas all this attention. California Democrat leaders are declaring war on the cost of living in California. They're taking bold, decisive action. Oh, just slap them. They're in on it. The liberal media in California, they're in on the scam. That's why I take these press releases, I walk you through them. When you see the headline, California Speaker Robert Rivas announces new assembly actions, bold actions targeting the biggest cost drivers for Californians. You haven't done jack, you know what I mean. You haven't done anything. You haven't done squat. And yet they get credit in the newspapers and on TV, and yet people's costs continue to go up. And they think that Robert Rivas and the Democrats did something for them, but they didn't. they actually worsened the crisis by adding all new regulations, taxes, fees, charges, mandates. All these things are causing your cost of living to go higher and higher. We have to open up the eyes of Californians. That's what we're doing at Reform California. Again, go to that website, sign up at the bottom, first name, last name, email, phone, and zip. Then you'll be part of our growing movement statewide to take back our state, to recruit candidates, support them in the election, support good ballot measures. I want to get my gas tax repeal initiative back on the ballot, the taxpayer protection initiative to stop the mileage tax. All of that's going to require ballot initiatives. You can be part of that. Please chip in a contribution. We get no support from the big special interests. We rely only on grassroots supporters like you. So chip in a contribution, put fuel in the tank of our movement to reduce costs in California and to take back our state from far left insanity. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.